What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show somewhere. Tonight we're going to be talking about the obvious event and some new events that have unfolded at the White House. We're going to talk about some executive orders that were just put in, and everybody on Facebook saying that their family members are being called up. This is going to be quite a show, so stick around. We'll be right back right after this. You got to go, get yourself refilled. Remember, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who works with the show, including our wonderful mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. You got to go, get yourself refilled. You got to go, get yourself refilled. What is going on, guys? My name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. If you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show. Our number here is 224-400-MARF, and again, we have multiple platforms that we are live on, and multiple platforms that we do end up doing stuff. This, of course, is going to be on TV and on DLive, and then, of course, we have Marfoogle News at 154,000 subscribers. 155,000 subscribers now over there on YouTube as well. Then, of course, Marfoogle TV at 116,000 subscribers, and then, of course, DLive closing in on 20,000. So thank you guys. Huge shout out to the DLive community. We are growing every single day there, and I just appreciate the entire community of streamers over there. Amazing. With that being said, just to show you guys, you can follow along. We're going to go over a ton of different articles. You can actually go with us and read these articles on marfooglenews.com. If you've never seen us before, of course, we back up everything that we are going to show you here today. In fact, when we do something, we try to do it right. So we don't just give you some information and say we heard it somewhere. We actually give you the source of it. Now, you guys are going to see a lot of the stuff that we're talking about today is openly public, and you'll be able to go for yourself. In fact, if you guys have family members that were called up, and we're talking about recently, like today or yesterday, then please let us know. We're going to talk about the executive order, calling in special reserves. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. So with that being said, if you go to our website, marfooglenews.com, it's organized by thumbnail. If you see this thumbnail minus the lettering here, then, of course, you will be able to click on it, and you will actually go to see all of the tweets, all of the videos, all of the articles that we're going over today are not only archived, but they're there so you can follow along. And then by the end of the show, right here, there will be a section full of the callers. We actually put that in live, so you will actually see that by the end of the show, or usually within about 10 minutes of the end of the show, you'll have every caller on that docket. So if they have a channel, a video they shared, or a picture they shared, or an article, or a document that they share, you will be able to access that. That way, we are not only projecting, we're also receiving and sharing all of your information as well. So, and then at the same rate, if you guys want to support a broadcast like this, and if you want to help us grow and expand, again, you can actually do that on the right side of the screen. Plus, there is a store there. You can support any of the products that we end up working with. We only work with products that we actually believe in. One of them today will be mentioned in particular because it goes along with what is going on right now. Some very serious stuff. On that note, I will say, even if you don't go through us, keep in mind there's some things that you might want to check into either way. All right, and then this is, first off, I should bring in Dex. I've never forgotten, and today I won't start. Dex, can we do a sound check, and what is going on?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So obviously, you know, Dex is behind the scenes on the left side of my screens here. He actually has the ability to share all of the callers' information, share what they're calling about, and also share the videos or the documents that they give. Not only that, he does a great deal with the website while we're actually live. So he's in Marfoogle Studios East. What is going on in Georgia? You guys have kind of halfway opened up, right? Some things seem like they're going better for you guys, I guess.
Yeah, we're sort of getting our toe in the water. A lot of people are struggling with the rules. So the rules to open, like it's the headline is Georgia's open, but it really isn't, because when you go to the details, it's like, yeah, you can open your spa, but there's all of these rules you have to put in place. Like, you can't have a keyboard out or a payment system where anybody touches anything. It has to be contactless. So if you don't have that capability, you now have to figure it out, right? You got to keep your customers in their cars in the parking lot. They can't come in until it's their turn to be serviced. So, I mean, that's just one example. And the same thing happens with, restaurants and all sorts of other types of services that are out there. So yeah, a lot of businesses are just not doing it because they can't achieve follow the new rules. They haven't figured out how to make their business compatible yet. And then there's all the issues with unemployment and trying to do right by their employees.
Well, and then so here we're actually going to be extending. I'm in Washington State, and what ends up going on now is, as predicted, and I said this on Twitter and many other platforms and on my community posts, that I believe that Washington would not, even though we sent ventilators back, we are supposedly doing really, really great. The curve is going down. They are extending ours. It was going to be May 4th. And now it is set out, and I don't even know what the date is. Again, most extended from either May 4th to all the way at the end of May, so an entire month more. So a lot of people are not exactly happy about that. With that being said, there's some weird scenes playing out all over the country. Of course, we had in New Jersey, I didn't put this in here, but I should have. I actually tweeted out, they had a mile-long waiting line for the food bank trucks. There were these trucks with pallets of food, and man, oh man, if it wasn't a scene out of Contagion, I don't know what is. I mean, literally, that scene in Contagion where they're in the back of the truck and they run out of MREs, it was a crazy thought to see that, and then to see what is going on there. Because the folks that have not, I mean, if you think about the money that people got, the $1,200. Think about if a single man, got that $1,200, has not had a paycheck in 2 months. That's, 4 different paychecks, and their rent is $2,000. Think about, depending on where you are, especially the second wealthiest state in the country, and then all of a sudden you get $1,200, but that doesn't even pay your rent. So, people are getting the virus. This is the people and the economy that is causing this stuff. I mean, you're talking about doing a house or a home robbery when absolutely 100% fact know that those people are probably there. That is brazen. That is absolutely nuts. So these people are going in there and actually taking stuff. My neighbor, which I told you, their friends got basically held at gunpoint, and they took what their stuff is. One quick hint before I go, if you're in a place that even has an idea of this, when I said it to Dex says, I already got that too. Always have kind of a secondary thing there, something that looks like it's protected. Some people even keep a second safe, and they'll keep whatever. If somebody came in your house and overpowered you, you would give them that safe and have stuff that you don't care about, or maybe a couple $100, and then let them take that and make them think that that's your stash. Again, that might sound crazy right now, but there have been people that have been in that situation. They've given up the couple $100, and then their real safe is somewhere else with whatever else they have, their home valuables, anything else. You could even put fake jewelry in there or something and make them think that they just scored. Then they get the hell out of there, and they do their thing. That sounds crazy, but the more that this gets drawn out, the more that people that do, worked 9-to-5 jobs, the regular jobs that aren't food related or essential, they are getting really hurt right now. And we're talking about families that they've got kids sitting up and looking at them saying, "We need to eat, Dad." I'm very, very concerned, and I'm praying for all of these people that are, hurt right now and hurting. And we're trying to figure out, ways that all of us can help. This is a big group of people watching here. So Anyways, this is even more kind of, I guess some would say, disturbing. Executive order on ordering the selected reserve of the armed forces to active duty. Now, again, I'm going to explain this. It says, by the authority of the vested in me and President by the Constitution of the laws of the United States of America, including Section 12304 of the Title 10 United States Code, and having determined that it is necessary to augment the regular armed forces of the United States for the named operational mission, specifically, quote, Enhanced Department of Defense counter-narcotic operation in the Western Hemisphere. So this quote by itself, this is part of the executive order, right? Let's look at what this says. Counter-narcotic operation. So again, under the operation that they have publicly said, in fact, during one of the task force meetings, they came out and said, we're going against the cartels, and they sent the Navy off to do something. Again, we're civilians, so we don't get to see a lot of what is actually going on. Some have their theories of what that is. This isn't the show to go over that. We will eventually go over what we think it is, what you guys think it is, and we're probably going to do some polls on Twitter as well and see what the general public thinks they are doing while doing this, right? But again, Enhanced Department of Defense counter-narcotic operation in the Western Hemisphere. Quite a name there. And then again, it says, what this is, too, is these are the special reserves. This is an executive order, and when I heard, Dex, you said it's about 200 soldiers, right? Which doesn't sound like much, but then again, it's not all that's being done right now. And two, this is the special reserves, so they could have some sort of special commander that needs to be brought back in or something like that in this group. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I'm guessing that this is an action happening to get access to specific people that maybe they want, because the number's really low. But we're hearing, at least, this caused a lot of conversation, and that conversation I was seeing was a lot of people saying, "Oh, my husband was just called in," or my son was just called up last week. So there's a lot of people that are getting called up now. Maybe that happens all the time, but it just seems like with this action that happened today, the conversation's happening, and a lot of people are talking online about more and more activations.
Now, we didn't have time before this show, but what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to blur some of the names and then get some of those statements and actually show them on the show. This is kind of an alarming number of people that are saying that their family members are being called up. If you guys, I know that we have a huge military group in here. Of course, we haven't even had time to check that. We found out about this roughly about an hour and a half ago, and we saw all of these people, especially, and then I asked the question to my sister, and I asked one of my family members. I said, "Hey, can you check your Facebook and just see if anybody has said something about it?" And sure as hell, about 15 minutes later, they both came back with, "Yeah, there's at least 3 people I know that are getting called up, or they have a husband or a wife that is getting called up." So I thought that was pretty unique, right? What is this for? We actually don't know the exact status of our military right now, because they said that they were going to stop telling us what was going on with that, on how bad the cases were in the government and in the military and things like this, because we didn't want our enemies to know, if we're weak or if we're not. This happening today is very special because of all of the other things. It's not just by itself. You have to look at it as a whole and try to piece together a lot of other things. You've got Kim, you've got all this other stuff going on, so we'll talk about that. Now, there is admissions, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all of these different places are saying that it did accidentally leak, that they were doing some sort of either evacuation, continuity of government planning, some sort of secret operation in Washington, D.C., which is funny because we reported on a leaked secret operation months before this happened, and that was another one where there was Blackhawks flying around Washington, D.C., landing on roofs, all of that stuff, and now we have this. Just saying it. It's very odd. Obviously, there's something that as civilians, we are not going to know until kind of after the fact. This was, again, just to bring it back for a second, this was my tweet earlier. What I ended up having is my sister actually caught this and figured out before there. Now that I think that there's a couple articles about this because she wasn't the only one. Jay Inslee, our governor, is, and this is why it matters to you guys. We are being used as the national model. It says Jay Inslee, Washington governor, first one on board with Microsoft's facial recognition. It says and then, by the way, my family member found, she thought, oh, I wonder if they're in any way connected. Inslee's daughter-in-law, the woman who married his son, works for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And of course, I said this. Nobody's in the governor's pocket or anything, right? But if you look at it, what it is they are saying that this will be the national model. So if it's great here, which I'm sure for some reason it will be, that means it's going to be how it's set up everywhere else. So I, unfortunately, am in the place which is going to have facial recognition for the event before anybody else. And this is going to be used, and most likely very, very soon. A lot of people do not like this. This is something that is very creepy. In fact, all of the responses from this are all negative. I could not really. The only positive ones were, saying they like my show. There was nothing positive about this. There was no people that said, oh, I don't care. That's not a big deal to me. I'm not a criminal. That was people's attitude a couple years ago. Not anymore. Now people are really, really getting irritated with the amount of surveillance and how it's kicked up a notch. And they feel like it's turning into a different country. It's not the same. Do you feel like that? I would love to hear your thoughts on this and more at 224-400-MARF. If you guys want to support us in a different way, it's a real quick thing. NordVPN is one of the companies we work with, and everybody is on the computer right now 24/7. This is the most time. In fact, we'll actually show you proof in the next couple days. They are doing more internet crime right now than any other time in history, even in the last couple years of the tech boom, everything, because they know everybody is literally on their computer 24/7. Everybody is locked down on it. You can actually protect yourself with something like NordVPN or NordVPN. This is one of the top ones. It's one of the most advanced, and it's one of the highest rated. So you can go with this one or a different one. But if you go with this, not only will it actually cover 6 devices, so your computer, your friend's computer, your daughter's computer, your phone, you can have multiple devices, your tablet, and it will actually help the channel, and you will get over 70% off on their biggest plan. So again, that's special savings with the code Marfoogle, marfooglenews.com/VPN. And then we have hundreds of protesters, some carrying weapons in the state capitol, demonstrate against Michigan's emergency measures. Now, this matters because, again, they had their initial kind of hoorah, and they got extended. Dex, I don't know if you're available here, but what happened is they first came out and they did kind of that protest, and they were all driving in their car. Then it got extended, so now they're even more mad, and now a bunch of people kind of came out in groves again against this same state.
Right, and this sentiment is picking up across the nation, especially in the states that aren't reopening and that are having the greater levels of lockdowns. I don't want to necessarily describe what the politics are of those states, but it just tends to be this obvious struggle between the population and what the freedoms that they're being taken away from, they're being taken away from them, and what they're protesting for. And it just seems like it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter because they're taking it to new levels. I mean, going into the Capitol armed is a big deal.
Yeah, it is, and especially right now, I think that there is different things being put in place nationally, and I don't know if they kind of apply underneath, but you're talking about different things that now that it's a national emergency, some things can actually be considered crimes when they normally wouldn't. So I was still looking into that. Now, I wanted to kind of give you guys the details on that if I found anything. Then, of course, this is really weird. I don't know if you guys remember this. In the UK, before any of this happened, I have an episode that we did about 7 months ago talking about the frozen truck with all of those essentially perished people. And there was a guy in a hazmat suit driving it, and then he left or something like this. It was some kind of weird thing. Well, a lot of people think that it was some sort of trafficking. And then now we've got dozens of perished people found in U-Haul trucks outside of New York City funeral home. Now, I'm not saying that those two things are connected. In fact, this very well, they say that this is the deal. Is it government? Is it the actual city because the funeral homes are overwhelmed, or is it something else? Is it cartel related? Who is in those U-Haul trucks? We are currently in a battle with the cartel, according to them. So there is a slim to no chance that this is something related to that. We don't know. Again, this is not much was kind of explained with it. And it says police found dozens of people being stored in unrefrigerated trucks outside of a Brooklyn funeral home and lying on the facility's floor Wednesday. Law enforcement sources told the Post. Between 40 to 60 people were discovered either stacked up in U-Haul box trucks. Yeah. Outside Andrew Cluckley Funeral Services and Flatlands or on the building's floor. Okay, so apparently it's one of the funeral homes just having extra space. That's kind of nuts, I have to say. And then we've got oh man, and trust me, there's crazier stuff to come here. We're going to talk about them launching things into the sky. Yeah. Top CV-19 model predicts 100,000 perish by the end of summer. It says a top CV model is predicting that 100,000 Americans will have perished from CV by the end of summer. At the U.S. death toll surpasses President DT's best case scenario of 60,000 perished. So this was, again, a MOBS model from the Network Science Institute at the Northeastern University. Also estimates that there will be about 89,000 deaths by mid-May if stay-at-home orders remain in place. See, if you stay home, that's the point they're making here. And again, people are talking about beef and meat and famine. The answer could affect people's dinner tables and T-Man re-election chances. NR Plus member article, it says, America's meat processing plants are hard hit by CV. Speculation runs that the immigrant laborers are less aware of health precautions given in English and that their living situations and the elbow-to-elbow nature of work at these industrial butchers and packers make them especially vulnerable. Okay, come on. So they're actually saying, I'm sure there's some people that agree with this, but they're saying because they don't speak English that they're not going to understand all of these things. I'm pretty sure the entire country, including people that are straight out of Mexico, know kind of what's going on here. Just a thing like, even if I didn't speak Spanish when I was in Mexico, when I lived there, you get the thing pretty quickly. Even if you don't know it at all, you could get it really quickly. And I don't understand how they're not understanding these kind of things. So I guess maybe they want a reason for that. Tyson's CEO warned that closure of plants mean that, quote, millions of pounds of meat will disappear from the supply chain. Millions of animals that are raised for slaughter may simply be plowed under and buried alive. That's a pretty... That's an awesome thought to think about. It says, for the first time since the 1970s oil crisis, Americans on a mass scale may be exposed to rationing, shortages, and long line for a resource they consider essential to their lives. It says President T has responded by declaring meat processing plants as, quote, critical infrastructure. The White House will take all appropriate action to continue operations at meat processing plants. Okay, so if you guys are unsure about all of this, just know that the one thing that is very real here is that these massive companies are either shutting down or they are stating that they are having huge issues with this. So this is kind of an offset. I mean, it's like they're literally telling us that there's going to be rationing shortages and all of this. And it's not just MSM, it's actually documents from the White House. So what are they planning for? What is actually going on? Why are all of these things getting activated? It does kind of, in my mind, explain some of the things I've talked over the last couple of years about. DHS buying 1.6 billion rounds, all of these other things, militarizing police forces and things like this. It just seems like something bigger is on its way. And I'll show you some more things here in a second that you will kind of completely understand what I'm talking about. Kelsey Davies, thank you. And it says, happy belated birthday. I'm sorry I missed my cake. By the way, Christar made an actual cake and wrote Marf on it, and it was really pretty. It had stars on it, and I actually missed it. So that was awesome. 420 Harley, another great streamer on here. Thank you for being in here. It looks like End Times just donated you a subscription. That's awesome. Rachel 420, got a bunch of 420 names in here. That's awesome. Angela 4110, thank you for the lemon. Fairy Spirit, Stinkerbell, that's awesome. Lemon Essence, England Lass, Sailing Dogs, Ledrabon, Susan Rock, Greatest is Love, and SJ Lance, thank you for being here. Johnny Doom, Kelly2334, thank you for the diamonds. And then Zippy Moons says, I'm late to the party, but I'm here. And he shows up in a Ninja Guinea. That's awesome. Thank you. And then 420, thank you, Harley or Lola. Thanks for being an awesome streamer and supporter. No problem. Anytime. You guys know that you guys have my back. Aussie's Walkabout, Greatest Love, Herd Bowl, Dark Messiah, Twyla Suin, all sorts of folks here. Jam House, welcome. Thank you for following. And then, of course, we have quite a few people that have just joined in over here. Trina Bedhead, thank you for following. We've got Get Me In, Out, or Geekin' Me Out. Thank you for subscribing. Jaden Friesen, thank you for subscribing. Survival Living, thank you for the super chat. You can always write something with that. Ilea, thank you. It says, did you see my new video? Quarantine's got me turning tricks. I don't know what I don't want to think, and I couldn't think fast enough. I didn't know if you were having me say something naughty, but I'll get back to that one. Bridget Ohlenberger, thank you. I appreciate that. Neonsen, war to start on May 19th. Second 911, but way worse. So I don't know where that date is coming from, but again, I never listen to the dates unless there's something to back it up. But what I will say is, once you see some of these articles coming up, you guys are going to understand there are some huge things going on behind the curtains, where the Wizard of Oz is. It says, RTTV, hey Adam, would love some Marfoogle love to my channel. Thank you, sir. Alaska Prepper, hello Adam, and hello to the Foogle fam. Great to catch a live stream. Many blessings to you and your family. Even during this crisis, we can still prep for the major food shortage that is coming in the near future. Alaska Prepper is a very smart man. If you guys haven't checked his channel out, but you know, if somebody like him is saying we're going to have some sort of shortage, yeah. You see people like this that spend all of their time looking at these things. You know, it's just like if you played basketball every day, you'd get good at it. People that do this every day, they see things coming. Adam Smith, is Dex short for dextrose? I don't know, but isn't that some sort of fake sugar? And then Thunder Rolls Media, thank you for being the last one out last night. Time L the Goat and Kelly Joe Z, thank you, I appreciate that. So you'll see here, we're going to get to this. Global internet outages reach record high during the CV lockdown. Now, I told you that this, at the very beginning of this, before it even barely got here, I said that we were going to have problems with the internet. And that's purely because the more that they lock people down, the more people are going to be online, and the more serious the kind of shutdowns get. the infrastructure. They say that all of these guys are still out and about, but I have friends that work for companies like Comcast, and they say that everybody's either calling out sick, and because of the fear of the virus, they've got like a third of their normal staff, at least here. Where you live, if you guys have multiple people, and then they're hiring like crazy. They're getting people. They are working for a couple days, then quitting. People just don't want to be around it. They're so afraid they don't want to work to kind of manage this infrastructure. So there are a lot of outages, but are those from everybody being on? It seems like they keep upping the speeds, and it gets even worse when people are on it. We should have the infrastructure to have everybody on at least with some sort of speed, right? Because just a couple years ago, our internet fast was like, a megasecond or something. Now it's, just astronomical, 600 megs, a gigasecond. And, you're talking about this. It doesn't make sense that some of this is going on. It says internet outages have hit record highs during the CV lockdown as network operators make changes to meet the demand of more people now working at home. According to U.S. network intelligence firm Thousand Eyes, what a creepy name for that, network outages across the globe were seen to rise across March, reaching previously unseen levels. While internet infrastructure in both the UK and internationally performed better at the start of April. The last week has seen another spike in reported issues. Some say, and some publications have said, that we are actually getting a lot of hackers. That's again why I suggested things like NordVPN, because these guys are on their peak right now. So I don't know what is actually going on here, but if you guys have reports of it locally, if you guys have had issues, we've had several issues with even our cell phone service, where our cell phone does not even connect to a network. It says it's not connected. It's not like where there's 0 bars. It actually disconnects us from the entire network. Pretty crazy stuff. As far as this goes, we're probably going to see some more outages. I heard that Twitch was down the other night, completely down. And there's been a bunch of other smaller ones, bank websites. Even I saw somebody said Lego went down for quite a bit. And it says, give people back their G-damn freedom. This is Elon Musk saying this. Says he bashes U.S. shelter-in-place orders as fascist, says that they're forcibly imprisoning people in their homes. Remember, this is Elon Musk. Dex, if you're here as a somebody who was very into tech, what do you think of a tech giant like this and a Tesla giant like this saying this kind of stuff?
Well, yeah, I thought of all the people to fuel the fire or fan the flames, I should say. I wouldn't expect him to be doing that, but maybe I don't know. I'm really shocked when I saw that coming from him compared to the narrative that comes from a lot of other high-level either celebrities or people in power in those similar type positions. They're definitely towing the line of do what's right for CV, and here he is standing up against it. So
could you ever see Elon running for president, like down the road a few years? It seems like he's always done things strategically, how he says them. There's no reason for him to really get the backing of the people, but that there's a lot of people that probably didn't like him at some point or don't like him that, see him standing up against this and they, want to like him. I don't know. It's weird. You see all of the celebrities, everybody saying, stay home, stay safe. Let's, do this as long as it takes. And then there are a whole other group of people, which are normally just kind of on the right side, smaller celebrities saying not to, but really to go against that is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he's definitely said some things, I guess. He certainly positions himself very well to be a showman and to position himself really well with different narratives. I just was shocked to see this one. I don't think he's natural born citizen, is he? I think he's from South Africa, if I remember correctly.
It's something weird. Well, and by then we might as well have just switched out our constitution. So as far as being a president, because he's not born here, I don't know. That will probably be amended or something by the time he ends up going for it. I just see something like, There's a few people that I think in the future, because of T-Man, Commander-in-Chief, being in there, I think that opens up the doors for the future, for the society kind of accepting somebody who's not a politician. But we'll see. I'm not saying like 2020 or anything, but maybe next time around or the time after that. What do you think about Elon saying all of this? Do you think that it's kind of awesome that he said this, or do you think that he's doing it for a reason? Give us a call at 2244-00-MARF. Also, if we don't read an article all the way through, you can always go to marfooglenews.com and check it out. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of crazy, and we're getting into the group of stories here that really make me think. It says the provocative actions of the United States seriously violated relevant international law norms. That, of course, was a quote from the spokesman for the military of China. That is because they expelled a U.S. Navy vessel from the South China Sea. Now, the South China Sea was international waters. Now they have actually built the Spratly Islands. They have literally taken dirt from the bottom of the ocean, piled it up until it was not only an island, but now it is an airfield. It is a forward operating base. They have tanks. They have anti-air weapons. They have everything there. They have literally a forward operating base on multiple islands, multiple takeoff points. I mean, you're talking, if we saw WW3, that would be a huge, huge part of it. But not only does that mean that they have, a base there, that also means they have rights to part of that ocean. So supposedly they said they expelled. They've been doing this for years. If you fly a little Cessna through this place, they go, you are now in China's airspace, leave. They did it even before anyone else recognized. You're talking about, this is such a big country that they do this and they can just say, this is China. Even though it's out in the ocean, there's, Philippines, all these other countries that, should have kind of a claim to this area. And they're like, no, it's China's. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, son? What you doing? Get out of my air face. Get out of my air face? Sorry. But it is a big deal. It says, China's Southern Theater Army Command, quote, organized sea and air forces to track, monitor, verify, and identify the U.S. ships throughout the journey and warned and expelled them. They basically walked them with their hand and said, you get the hell out of here. Now, it says the provocative actions of the United States, this is their quote, remember, seriously violated relevant international law norms, seriously violated China's sovereignty and security interests, artificially increased regional security risks, and were prone to cause an unexpected incident. It says that the South China Sea is potentially energy-rich stretch of water and home to more than 200 specks of land. It serves as a gateway to global sea routes where approximately 3.4 trillion of trade passes annually. Basically a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. So with this being said, they say it's energy rich. I've always seen it for what I think it is. It's the halfway point. One of the logistical problems of a conflict between China and U.S. was that long flight, that long distance with their Navy, and not only that, with their planes. We would see it coming. We would have this. We'd have that. Having that halfway point is a huge deal for reinforcement reasons, for everything. I've seen it like that for a long time. It may have oil, it may have something else, whatever it is. It could have gold and diamonds, but I don't think that that's why they have built it. That's just my personal opinion. You can have yours, of course, at 2244-00-MARF. Now, this is a big deal because everybody is now, it's just so weird how something this big could either be true or either be not. And not as many people are concerned as probably should be about this. Kim Jong may be at a North Korea compound after satellite images spot luxury boats. Now, we're going to actually show you two different stories because there's two different narratives here. There's one saying that he is at some sort of resort, totally good. It says, Greg Paulcutt sorts out the latest rumors on the health of the NK leader after speaking to key contacts in South Korea. It says recent satellite photos indicate that the NK dictator Kim Jong might actually be at a luxury coastal resort on the Hermit Kingdom's northeast coast, despite worldwide speculation about his health. So why would he be at a resort? Why would he be hiding somewhere, and why would he be in a very special place that is actually one of the places said and quoted in the world to be safe from some of the huge things that have happened in the past? That, again, is one direction. Go ahead.
What if you were trying to make it look like he was around? What would you do? You would take out his resort boats and go cruising up and down the water with him, right?
Weekend at Bernie's?
Yeah.
Literally, like, the meme is right. Like, they're taking him and they're springing him like a puppet and pulling a literal Weekend at Bernie's at a resort. Yeah, it says, since Kim last seen on April 11th, which is now 19 days, we're going on 3 weeks now, missed an April 15th commemoration that celebrated the 108th birthday of his late grandfather. That's every year. That's tradition. If he missed it, there's something wrong. Or, he's not conscious. Because if you miss that in that culture, that's a huge deal. People that have come home from there, or escaped there, I should say, they have said that if a leader has never done that, they've never missed an event like that. You just don't. You don't. In fact, some of the higher ups, if you miss that, you can get punishment up to not being on this planet anymore. So you don't miss that kind of thing unless something serious is going on. So that's one narrative, and they say satellite images, these resort boats. Does that prove anything? No. But then check this out. Wait a second. Hold on. Boom, boom. Let me see. I think... Let's see here. Dex, I'm going to pull up. Can you actually give me the link to the other one? I actually no, never mind. I got it. Boom, boom. Okay. There we go. So this is the other kind of thing that has been getting around. So check this out. It says video claiming that Kim has dropped dead on official visit and his sister would succeed him spreads in NK. Now, this is a video, it says, claiming Kim has dropped goners during an inspection, is spreading inside of NK as the mystery deepens over his disappearance. NK police have set up a task force to try and identify how the clip made it into their, or out to, of their tightly controlled borders. It says rumors continue to swirl about the whereabouts and the health of Kim, with reports he is either gone or gravely ill emerging over the last week. Footage mocked up to look like a news report broadcast by a Korean Central Television. It says NK's state-owned broadcaster is believed to have entered the secretive state from China. It says the 5-minute video claims Kim has passed away during an inspection on April 25th. It claims that his sister Kim Yo-young will succeed him as supreme leader. Is that not crazy or what? So they did a broadcast and then snuck it into the country, and now his own country thinks he's gone. Is that kind of how this is working out for them?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. And I couldn't even find the actual video they're talking about. They're just talking about it. It's a story about a video, not a video that you can see. And there's plenty of other videos out there, but that was kind of interesting.
So honestly, if his own country starts thinking that, then they would want to try to get him out in the public. If he was okay, then they would want to show their country, hey, your supreme leader is still here. He doesn't use the bathroom. He is your, God and stuff, because that's actually what they think. Then, you would think that some things would happen if they thought that. But I don't know. It's one of the weirdest countries in the world. We will kind of see what is going on. Where do you think he is? Do you think he's even on this earth? Do you have a feeling he's gone? Do you have a feeling that we took him out? All of these aren't even like theories or conspiracies, right? We actually know from state sources that, if there was some sort of operation like this, in fact, just a couple years ago, they talked about everything was on the table. Even taking him out was on the table. What if he had a routine, some sort of surgery, and they snuck a doctor in through CIA or something like that, or some sort of sleeper cell? They have these things. These are real operations that happen all the time, but we never see them. As civilians, we don't see the special forces, the crazy, Green Berets, the NSA, the CIA, and all these guys do their stuff. But they're all around. So I thought this was pretty interesting, to say the least. All right, so, and then, okay, check this out. This is really weird. You've got the CDC suspends the reporting of the influenza data during the CV outbreak. I just want you to absorb that. And I'm not going to read this whole one. You guys can go to our website, marfooglenews.com. But why in the world would that be the case? So I guess, what do they call cases of that? Very strange stuff. You guys can go to marfooglenews.com to see the rest. If you guys are missing notifications from us, make sure you know that we have our own website notifications. They are now available, and they work with most all browsers in Android. iOS is coming soon. Look for the prompt and click the bell in the bottom right-hand corner. Otherwise, you'll get a little white box that says, Marfoogle News would like to send you notifications. I usually block those, but in this case, I would say allow. All it does is tell you exactly when we're live, and it will show up right at the top of your phone without getting the notification 4 days late. Not calling out any names or anything. YouTube. YouTube sucks at notifications. I didn't mean to say that. And the black screen Discord. MarfoogleNews.com. Sign up for Marfoogle Alerts. You can get into the Creators Corner. We have 50 state groups that are preparing all over the country. Those groups, if you, based on your state rules, make sure to go and follow the rules. Make sure that you get in there and meet with your people. If it has to be through Skype, then do that. Again, there are 50 state groups and then groups opening up all over the world, including Canada, which we're working on more Canada groups. You guys, meeting is very important, especially doing the Skype meetings and phone meetings and things like this. You have to get organized. And then we have our exclusive military channel closing in on 500 active and retired military folks in our group, in our Discord. Almost 15,000. I don't even know how many thousands actually. We'll have to check that. Again, it's more than 15,000 and it's absolutely huge. So please utilize the services we put in. It's been a lot of stress, a lot of work to put that together. Make sure you utilize it. Our Marfoogle Alerts email system, if you're not signed up for that, then you are missing out. You need to get on to Marfoogle Alerts. It's an email-based system. It's free to you. And again, it's not something that's used very often. When we do use it, it's usually a very good thing. So again, check that out on the website, marfooglenews.com. This is also a very freaky fact. It says that FEMA, that agency right there, has just ordered 100,000 more bags for people for worst case scenario. Well, what's worst case scenario? I guess that's the numbers talked about in our task forces. It says the feds ordered 100,000 new body for possible victims in what officials call preparations for, quote, worst case scenario as the pandemic continues. It says the order placed last week by FEMA for, quote, human remains pouches comes on top of a previous order for initial 100,000. as the toll was expected to top 60,000 by Thursday. Says President T on Monday said he expected the pandemic could cost 60 to 70,000 lives in the U.S. And they point this out just because they want to say he was wrong, I guess. And then as quarantine fatigue spreads, Dr. Fauci says second wave of CV is inevitable. So what is going to come out and what is going to hit us in the side of the head? If not, if not now, in a couple months from now, if this starts kicking in again, what would actually happen? Would we lock down again? Would this all have to start all over again? I'm sure people are pretty freaked out, less of this and more of the lockdown and the continuation of this and the loss of jobs and everything else, the economy crashing, what happens to all of the middle class folks who are now going to be either low class or no class because of this. I mean, you're literally losing jobs everywhere. The record amount of 22 to 30 million unemployed now. I mean, we went from literally being at the highest unemployment or lowest unemployment rate ever to now the highest unemployment rate in history. What is going to happen? People are afraid to say depression or recession. I'm not. We are most definitely hitting into something. I don't even know if you talk about depressed. You're talking about like suicided depressed. It says, as anti-Americans show growing signs of quarantine fatigue and officials face pressure to ease CV restrictions, factories, malls, and state governments in many parts of the country are taking steps towards reopening. But Anthony S. Fauci, the same guy that said in 2017 we would have this surprise outbreak, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said a second wave of infections is, quote, inevitable. So what this says to me and what he said in the first place about this, whether whatever is going on is all one thing or the other, he's saying it's inevitable, which means we should expect a second time around. And we should expect more of this craziness. No matter what you think of the virus, you should expect it. Whether it ever touches you or anybody you know, you better expect the ramifications from it. Because if somebody like him is saying this, we're not in a good position right now. Then, and maybe it's just to set you up for this next one, did Ryan just demonstrate it can take down the U.S.? This week, the Republic of Ryan reported successfully launching a military satellite using the same advanced technologies that guide intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs. Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General John Hyten did not categorize the launch as successful, but did confirm the missile traveled a long way. Nevertheless, a prominent satellite tracking service now shows a Noor-1 in orbit, which should be of great concern to the United States. Get this. This is where this gets like the premonitions are now here. The type of ballistic missile technology used to launch this satellite could deliver nuclear, chemical, or even biological weapons to wipe off of the map, attack U.S. bases and allies in the region, and even U.S. and NATO installations as far away as Western Europe. One particular concern about them having nuclear weapons and long-range ballistic missiles is the fact that it creates a deterrent umbrella under which the hottest regime would have a free hand to continue and even escalate their sponsorship for direct support. Now check this out. Look at this. It says, while officials in Washington disagree of the extent of Iran nuclear weapons capability, credible experts have warned that we must operate under the assumption that they already possess at least some level of nuclear weapons capability. Not only this, they have essentially told us that it very well could be an electromagnetic pulse. It says the Congressional EMP Commission has long warned that a single nuclear weapon detonated at a high altitude would take down the U.S. electric grid and all of our critical infrastructures with it. And remember, so I try to tell people too, we work with these guys with EMP Shield, but just so you know, there was a point about a few months ago where we were concerned that they weren't going to keep doing it, period, because they got contracts with the government and we didn't know if they were going to continue their consumer line. You see, they could literally live the rest of their lives at EMP Shield without doing a single residential job ever. These guys called them up. And this was after T-Man signed that bill. I've been talking about this since way before I ever worked with EMP Shield. I've been telling you guys for 2 years. And a lot of the things we've said, unfortunately, have happened. And it's not like we have a crystal ball. They're telling us. They are telling us. DHS just told us 2 weeks ago that they are one of the biggest things on their docket right now. And that might not be the reality of it, but they are literally handing it to us on a platter. It says, similarly, on March 28, 2017, the United States Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental reported to the 114th Congress the following. A successful nuclear electromagnetic pulse, or an EMP, attack against the United States could cause the deaths of approximately 90% of the American population. Now it says, the Congressional EMP Commission's 2017 report titled Nuclear EMP Attack Scenarios and Combined Arms Cyber Warfare provides ample evidence that Ryanian strategic writings that the regime in Tehran actively considers EMP as a decisive method of defeating the United States. The report points out a quote from the Political Military Journal, article titled Electronics to Determine Fate of Future Wars. Now, this is something that, again, it says, since 99% of America's military installations depend on the completely unprotected civilian electric grid and the EMP vulnerable communication systems which undergrid this life-sustaining infrastructure, this is not Ryanian hyperbole. It says, moreover, the Ryanians need not worry about an ICBM's accuracy or the effectiveness of the warhead's re-entry into the atmosphere in order to conduct an EMP attack. What they're saying is they don't even have to be good at this thing. They just put it over there and boom, and it will knock out. So this is something I've talked about for 2 years, and they are putting out a lot of, I guess they're putting out they're throwing the rice out. They're giving us little pieces. So, Dex, what do you think about this, the whole thing? I would love to hear your opinion on this, considering, you guys, this whole thing is turned into something way bigger.
Yeah, this whole notion of a electromagnetic pulse, we're hearing about the capabilities from more and more countries, right? I mean, it used to just be, we only had to worry about, the Soviets or Russia, right? But now, not only do we have to deal with anybody who has, nuclear power could potentially do it, but you don't even have to have a great deal of that. If you just have to be able to get into space. So if you can get into space and you can have a satellite, you can actually have a satellite that can, pretty much do some pretty devastating, harm with an EMP. And that's, I think, is why we're seeing the Space Force, why we're putting a lot of effort into defense in space. And what does that mean? And how do we deal with, these satellite trackers and others, these satellite interceptors that are out there? We've seen other countries start to track our satellites because there is something going on in space. And it's not just, going into space. It's how do you control from up above down below? And I think, the EMP is one of those things because it can easily be launched from up there with very little detection and without any notice. I mean, you don't have to have a ICBM, go all the way across, 2 or 3 continents to get to a destination where you got all this time in the world to see it coming and you could potentially shoot it down or do other things. This can actually just happen up in the atmosphere.
So they don't have to be good or skilled at it. And whether that would be really what happens, or somebody could just turn off the switch and then they could blame whoever they want. Whatever it is, there's been 3 years of little warnings saying, hey, this is something you need to prep for. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, the same ones. And I just hate to think this is a huge coincidence. It's so funny that around this, remember, December 10th, 2018, right around there is when they put out the EMP resilience report. That's when companies like EMP Shield and things like this were called in. Right around this is when that same story of them buying 1.6 billion rounds happened. I just hate to think about, it's just too much of a coinkydinky, right? Look at this. DHS buys 1.6 billion rounds. That's enough rounds to fight a hot war for 20 years. That's more bullets than we used in the entire 20 years in those Middle Eastern countries. This is, of course, and they won't answer the Congress about this either. They won't say why, right? And then they ended up saying something like, oh, it's for live fire exercises. 1.6 billion. This is Forbes. 1.6 billion rounds of ammo for Homeland Security? It's time for a national conversation. Why? Not only that, they got MRAPs. They got all sorts of things. So, kind of crazy, right? Anyways, and we still don't know what the heck that ended up being. And then if you guys, this is something that we have been super serious about, and we're the ones who literally tried to reach out for this. So please, if you guys want to protect yourself against something like this, go with our partner, EMP Shield. Andrew actually hangs out. He actually answers questions and things for this. Again, EMP Shield will protect against all 3 phases of an EMP. People should have this at least on their generator and on their cars. You can get it from marfooglenews.com/EMP. But as I have said many times, if you don't want to go through us, you can go through their website. You can go separately. You don't have to use our code. You can go around it. Again, with our thing, the credit goes to us, and we get a small percentage. If you don't want to do that, you can go around us, and I highly recommend it. It protects you against coronal mass ejections and all phases of an EMP. They say, well, what if the grid never turns back on? That's why I say it's not only important to have all of the devices in your house protected, but also have your generator and your car, your solar system. If you have a bug out spot with solar, you need to have it protected. Otherwise, what good is it? Again, if you don't have a car to get to your bug out, what the heck good is it? That's, again, marfooglenews.com/EMP. The writing is on the walls, so please try to listen. Okay, so let's see here. Lots and lots of things that are all going on at once. There are some stories that did not make the cut. We usually put those on marfooglenews.com. You can actually go there and see some of the stories that don't make the main news. There are some that actually did make a great point. In fact, can you name a couple of the stories we cut from this? I believe Michael Flynn getting followed or basically possibly exonerated. That's a big deal. A lot of people are talking about that. Either way, Dex is on the phone with, looks like, our callers. So I'm going to go to the audience here, and let me just say, we've got a bunch of folks over on both platforms. So thank you guys. Head Like a Hole, because of your show, my fam was prepped before all of the panic. Again, we get that so much now. It's absolutely awesome. People realize they had all of their supplies, every kind of food, every kind of toilet paper, because we told you 2 years ago that something like this was happening. Go through my thumbnails, go through my titles, and I showed you the same kind of warnings. DHS warned about this exact scenario. You're talking about government documents saying that we were going to have some sort of thing. The World Health Organization saying, putting out these projections of the next pandemic. We showed you all of that. If you go through my thumbnails, just 2 months before any of this started in October and in September, I did 2 shows back to back of that. And I told you that there's something going on. DARPA needed the underground facility in 2 days. All of these things. DARPA was making smart suits. DARPA was, and then they were developing machines to pick up radiological activity at big events like NASCAR, radiological screenings in the dumps. I mean, it's just like the signs are all over. You just have to put them together. Okay, and then Paul Crane, thank you. Atlas didn't hit us yesterday. Time to open up the USA. Well, it was actually a different one that was probably closer to hitting us. Atlas, the thing is that Atlas is actually coming back around. That wasn't the time that it was, and it was never going to hit us. They say that if Atlas didn't break apart, which magically it broke apart from one day to the next, if it didn't, we would be going through its debris. And that's still a possibility. If it keeps the same path and it just broke apart, then that means we will go through. Maybe they said it broke apart so they could show us it later and say, now we're going through the debris field. I will still not back down on that. Again, I'll be able to back it up very soon here. FEMA has money put into us recovering from some sort of field. Barefoot Lass, thank you. Much love to the Foogle fam. Paul Crane, thank you. Trinity, Red Pill, Blue Pill, Hi-Ho, Kermit the Frog. Event 201 has a pig on it. Pigs passing away of Ebola in China. Drones infect farmers in China. Drones seen in Midwest. Now deaths and illness. We'll have to talk about that too. Trinity, love to do some sort of co-op thing there. Mega on Fire, TMH, says, hey, Adam, Dex, and everyone else, just know that their master plan has nothing on the Father's master plan. Please take mucho time in getting to know Bible prophecy. That was, again, Mega on Fire for TMH. Kevin Foogle fam says, I like some waffles. You want some, Adam? HBD. Happy birthday. Thank you. Still can't believe I didn't know what HBD was. All the data coming out makes it look like blood clotting, not a respiratory. Would make sense if it comes from bats. Well, and then at first they said it was not a blood virus. But then again, now there's all sorts of stuff coming out. Maddox Clem, Jason Norton, thank you for subscribing and welcome to the fam. Nunsack 909 says, I got some intel about the medical ships. There's been a conflict underground and they are rescuing kids from trafficking. Okay, if you have information or proof of any of that, I would love it. So please send it to my email. But definitely need more than a YouTube video. Brandy Weems, just wanted to let you know I'm here, I'm watching, and I do have pants on. Well, shorts. Happy much? And then Ilea, the hanging thing in the back of your throat is called a uvula. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't say anything. I'm super, super glad that you explained that. Tarnell the Goat, thank you for following here. And then, of course, Greatest is Love, Lemon Essence, Kelly2334, thank you for supporting tonight. Aussie's Walkabout. You've got PH3OT, says, too many returns going to dead letter office. Huh? Are you the gentleman who works at the post office? I think so. Other folks have sent us some stuff. Too many returns going to dead letter office. That's really quite weird. Jay Beal, thank you for gifting a 1-month subscriptions to the channel. Michael44, thank you for the diamond, says happy birthday. Michelle H, thank you. Crazy Coyote, what is going on, brother? Sweet Jenna 77, hey, glad to see you over there. Bogstown, 2024 eclipse coming back across the United States. You've got Guro Girl, thank you for the diamond, I appreciate that. Twisted Luck, Auntie M, Gas Electric, Chicago artist. Wisdom 62, sorry I missed it, but happy belated birthday. M. Menching, Adam, been following you since beginning. I know that. Thank you, M. Menching. I appreciate you sticking around. N Times, you have supported a huge amount. By the way, there is somebody, they said that they didn't want a shout out, but there's somebody named Mike, and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you so much for everything you've done. I just thought it was such weird timing what you did, and you said that something spoke to you to do it. I wish you would have put some contact info. I just thought I had to tell you something about that. What you said in that letter was really, really weird. I mean, to the point of like, thought it, then opened up your letter. I did get some letters. Kelly, thank you so much. I got your card. I got some folks. And then someone gave us a bin of Legos. And I'm actually going to go over that again. Thank you. I posted that on my community post. Kihaja Flygirl. New York City has solar streetlights and solar parking meters. There's something there. And then Johnny Doom, Angela 4110. You've got Little Ma 57. Thank you for the lemons. I appreciate all of you guys doing lemons and diamonds and all sorts of stuff. Eddie 47. Again, End Times. Just thank you guys. Thank you all. And then, of course, Mini 70, Amy R, aka Mini 70. Thank you so much for your, just everything you've done. Again, we don't expect any continuation of support, and you guys that have done, more than enough. I just really, really appreciate all of you guys. End Times, Brian Knight, all sorts of folks. Cincy, what is going on, brother? Cav12, Artifact, thank you. Awesome. A lot of cool streamers here. Jaybird, thank you. Let's see. Rockin' America, Renegade Petey, Kevin Dillinger. You guys are all awesome people. Thank you. Queen Fisher RN. All right. And then Alex G, thank you. If flea is tested positive, then mosquitoes next. And then Sandra 1209 says fleas test positive for plague in Arizona. Look it up. Fact. I've heard though over the last couple of years they've found the plague and things like that. Gina Benedetto and Ed Brown, Tiffany G. Thank you all. Appreciate that. Laura Borealis. Appreciate that. Okay, and then we're gonna get the first caller in here. We've got a really good one here. Let me open this up. Dex, I'm sure we have you back. First one is up is Moses. Moses, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Adam, brother. How you doing? Been following you for a long time. Matter of fact, I'm from the Tri-Cities. Now I live in Golden Valley, Arizona.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, happy moving.
Yeah. 4 years ago, I had a vivid dream of the coastline lurching up and slamming down and all the volcanoes going. And about a year later, I found you.
Isn't that
so
weird?
I made some plans to move. But what I'm calling about is on our local news today, they announced that in Phoenix and our local areas, Gilbert and all the local towns, that they'll be joined with 15 military jets, the Blue Angels. And they'll be flying over all of our towns tomorrow and honoring our first responders. Now, I know the Blue Angels. I thought that was kind of strange. We have 15 military planes joining them, doing these maneuvers.
So I believe this is the
same
thing.
I thought that was kind of strange.
This is actually the same thing they did in New York City, I believe. Isn't Dex, is that correct? I mean, because there was two sets of planes.
Well, yeah, I think the interesting thing here is the additional jets. I don't know if in New York and other cities they brought in other military jets. I do know the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels flew together in New York, and they had said they were going to send them from city to city. But the fact that they're including more military is what I'm hearing here from Moses, and that's kind of interesting.
Weird. So they could
and
say
that was
that
on our local news, not to be concerned with it, that they would be joining them and they showed the routes over all the cities and towns. And I thought, all winter long.
It's weird that they added the other military. You could think, though, too, if you wanted to cover up some military air activity, you could easily just say, oh, hey, we're going to put on the Blue Angels, too, and then they could kind of do anything they want, right? I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, the other thing I just wanted to do a quick note on is the CV. They were comparing it to the loss of death in Vietnam, up to 60,000. And I thought, boy, our population was a lot smaller in America during that time. So I went ahead and Googled it to see what the population was then and what it is today. The numbers are way different.
It's crazy.
The other thing is, since I was Googling numbers, I figured I'd go to the CDC and see how many people actually died of influenza in the year 2017 to 18. And I was surprised to see the number, 79,000.
Yeah, so in fact, some years have actually been worse than that. So, again,
you're talking tonight that they're actually not going to report those numbers anymore.
Well, that's right. They're going to be
well,
considered
that makes sense
CV.
because they were a lot larger during that period than they are today.
Here's some results.
79,000 compared to 60,000 today. Let's count in America. Over 60,000 Americans have died. 2017 to 2018. Influenza killed 79,000.
No, and I understand. So this argument has been around for a long time, since the beginning of this, and people tried to compare the two. That's not, that's been done so many times, and then again, a lot of people just get inflamed over it. I think that you can't really compare because they're the same.
The only other thing that makes me kind of scratch my head is I think
Can you hear me?
all of us in America
are you able to hear me, sir? Are you able to hear me, sir?
What's that?
Are you able to hear me? Am I low on
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, because I was in the middle of a sentence here.
I'm sorry. There's kind of a delay between us.
I figured that. So the comparison of comparing this to the flu, the only reason that doesn't work now is because those numbers are actually feeding back into this. They've officially said that somebody comes in with the flu, WHO is saying that they are now putting that as CV in the potentiality. Sometimes after death, they are adding that on. So again, there's a lot of weird stuff going on about that, but we're going to wait until the end of this to really decide that. Moreover, I'm worried about the consequences of it and not worrying about, is this worse than this, or is this worse than that? Is this worse than this? It's not worse than this. I'm more worried about the consequences and the ramifications happening right now because of it. So.
Oh, yeah, I hear you, brother. I mean, I was looking at the stats again when it comes to our food. We drink more beverages than we consume food. And I'm surprised that Coors, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and many other companies are not shutting down.
Yeah.
Because they employ more employees than the other ones that are shutting down.
Yeah, that is nuts.
And the last thing I just want to mention on, I was sharing with some friends, we watched this stuff go from China to Paris and around the world. But we also watched them spray heavily the streets, the buildings. I mean, I'm the only one spraying here, and I got 1/3 bleach water in my bottle. I spray my ATM machine. I spray my gas pumps.
So you're actually doing it for other people.
Kind of wonder about that. I mean, I'll even spray the ATM machine for people coming up behind me. It's just crazy that we're not spraying our subways, we're not spraying our buses, we're not doing anything like that.
Well, okay, so you actually just said that. They just announced, and I thought that this was interesting. I just tweeted out this morning. New York City is closing the subways to spray for this. Okay, so watch this. And the weird part about that is they're closing all of the underground structures in New York. Again, New York shuts down subways. So if you're able to see this, you're going to see that Kumo just pushed this through. Let's see here. Yeah, New York City will halt subway service and actually spray for this. So what the point you're making, again, is a good one because when in China, they sprayed everything. They had massive trucks spraying. They had planes. They had everything. I mean, the whole city was getting covered. You had people in backpacks spraying. Here, they still haven't done, almost anything kind of like that. We don't know, though. They could have jets doing it, and just unknowingly, we don't know. Of course, there's theories on that. But again, it says the New York City subway, the 24/7 behemoth that rarely shuts down, is shutting down, but just at night. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority will suspend subway service for 4 hours every evening to disinfect trains. So it's kind of a trip that this thing that is not shut down like almost ever, the entire thing is shutting down for 4 hours at night. So say something could happen at night, and that would be shut down, that underground facility. It's kind of crazy.
Well, hey, I love you guys. Keep speaking the truth. That's what every American and everyone in the world is trying to resonate now, truth out of some of this. Absolutely. And that's all we really want. And I think by the time we do get the truth, it'll probably be too late.
Well, thank you for calling, Moses, and we really appreciate you, and please call in again. And thank you for sticking around for so long. That really does mean a lot. All right. And
hey,
then,
Adam.
Yeah.
On the subway, I think there's like a dual cleaning going on there. Are you familiar with the homeless problem they've had recently?
Yeah. Well, we've briefly
covered. They've gotten to a point where they've literally camped out, and they've turned the subway system into a homeless shelter, right? It's so bad. Like the picture you were just showing, I almost laughed, because when you see pictures of the New York subway now, it's like you can't find a seat because everybody's sleeping. And it was so bad. They were saying that, the first responders and other people that have to use the subway, the people that aren't staying at home because they have to go to work, it's like not safe for them. Not that homeless people aren't safe, but just the fact that everybody's like living in it is not safe. So I wonder how much of that is, let's clean for CV versus how much of that is let's make sure everybody gets off and doesn't turn it into their bed.
So you're saying that essentially the homeless are racking all of these subway benches.
I've seen pictures,
riders.
like I know you've seen like tent cities where a homeless person will have just a massive amount of stuff they've stashed, right? Like a stack up of clothes and blankets and everything they've collected. I've seen pictures on the subway where you can't walk down the aisle because there's a pile of that.
Wow. So
yeah, and it's obviously gotten that way with the CV and how the city has changed, and the streets aren't open and the city's not running 24/7, and I guess they just congregated there as a place to sleep. That's what has happened to the New York subway.
So yeah, here's kind of this is recent. People are wearing masks. Wow, look at that. That really is, you see the guy sleeping here, guy sleeping here, guy sleeping here, people with masks that aren't, and then almost all of these are taken up by somebody turning it into their bed. So yeah, the comparison of those two photos is pretty funny. Yeah, this is such a nice, cleanly train that's probably not in service. This one is, and that of course is something that rhymes with coupe. All right, so moving on. We're going to have Mike. Mike, you are now live on Marfoogle TV.
Adam, thank you very much for having me on your platform. First-time caller. So if there's any mistakes, please bear with me. Dex, thank you for your professionalism. You guys have a very nice platform. I understand it takes funds to maintain and operate that. So whenever I can, I throw a super chat at you guys. Very good job. Very enjoyable program. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you. So, Mike, you pull up your card here. You wanted to talk about you're a truck driver.
Yes, sir, I am. Well, I'll get to the truck driving thing. I want to touch base on your last caller talked about the planes flying from, if I understand it correctly, I think a lot of states participated in that, including Missouri, which is where I reside. Not too far from where I live, there's a Whiteman military Air Force base, home of the stealth bombers, and they have those in the air flying around through Sedalia, which is where I live, going up to Kansas City, kind of looping around there to kind of show support for all the first responders and the hospital staff and stuff. So that's kind of cool to watch. I mean,
but
I'm sure there's
did they
always
have
some
extra?
sort of an agenda.
Did they
Yes,
have
sir.
extra? Did they have other military? The whole weird part about that is that it's not just the Blue Angels doing their flight to kind of get everybody hoorah. It's dozens of military jets also being involved. Is that what they did there as well, or?
Yes. Well, they were, there were more of. They had a couple of jets. I mean, it was more of the cargo carriers. I mean, there were, yes. That's, of course. I mean, like I said, there's always an agenda, or I mean, there's a practice of some sort. I mean, I don't dispute that at all. I mean, there's something definitely strange. I mean, there's definitely more activity everywhere. There's military equipment moving about the country. For what reason? When they're supposed to be on the seas movement, from what I understand, where they're not supposed to move around yet. You got trains, you got semi trucks hauling. And not tanks. It's more of like personnel carriers and more of like armored vehicles, which I find kind of strange. So, I mean, there's definitely something. I'm not saying that that in itself, the fact that they're flying, I mean, that seems kind of strange to me. So I'm not disagreeing or arguing about that point. So, yes, sir.
So now on the second note here, is this your channel, RTTV? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So it looks like you have.
I have a couple of.
It looks like you have 1.5 thousand subscribers, but only 2 videos. Did you have to take some videos down, or?
Yeah, I did. I ran a trucking channel for a while, and then some of the stuff I was saying was inflammatory, where I was getting subscribers removed. Well, you know how it works. I just one day got really it wasn't that I got upset. I knew there was a problem with the video. I just didn't know. I just took it all down. I decided to take it down, give it some time, let things kind of normalize, or whatever, give it some time, and then start putting new videos on. Which are a little bit different from the videos I posted. And it seems like it worked because I'm getting a lot more traffic. Maybe I should take your advice, or not your advice, but what you guys are doing with not using inflammatory words. Maybe that's the big problem, that I came across with my other videos, because I held nothing back. I mean, if it was on my mind, I said it.
Well, and that's great, but at the same time, when you do that and you end up having to, you're not reaching anybody, so you stay small. They keep you small, and you're doing it to nobody.
Yes,
right?
they do.
So,
no, you're absolutely right. So I will moving forward. I think I'm gonna implement kind of like what you guys are doing, because what's the point of speaking your mind if you're speaking to yourself, right? And there's no audience to listen. So I completely agree with you on that. Second point I wanted to, if you don't mind, to touch on, you guys, as I was in queue, I was listening to you talking about the EMP shield. I completely 100% agree. I think that's more of a real threat than people realize. If you look at Dimitri Duduman's prophecies, he was prophesying about a weapon of indignation that will come from the side of Canada into the middle of the United States. And then when it goes off, he was talking about that it wasn't like an explosion, like per se, like a nuclear bomb going off, but it was something very subtle, and it just shut the whole country down. And then also, if you look at Henry Gruver's prophecies about Russia, attacking the United States, which I thought, I mean, that was really out there, until, you just kind of start, as time progresses, I mean, things are lining up more and more, you know, to shape themselves in that manner to where that's looking more and more real. And they have technology. I mean, what was that boat that they shut off in the middle of I think that was one of the things you guys covered a while back. I don't remember what the name of that ship was, but there were two Russian their fighter jets that were flying. They were kind of doing bomb drill attacks on that. And this is one of our most technologically advanced warships that we had over there, and they basically, with a press of a button, just shut the whole thing off. And they were doing drill basically rubbing in the face of the of everybody that was on that ship that they can do that. So they have technology, a portable direct aim, maybe EMP, some sort of deal where it doesn't do like permanent damage, but it just kind of paralyzes. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about? Are you familiar with that story at all? I know it was a while back, but if I'm not mistaken, it's something you guys touched on.
Yeah, no, I covered it, and then we did a short video on news. So we did a live show and covered it, and then did a news show. That was before Dex, though. That was just me.
Yeah, yeah, but. Yeah, I mean, so it's very real, and Groover's, when he was talking about his vision that he had, Russian Air Force was basically with troop carriers. They were approaching the shoreline of the United States, including the nuclear submarines, and we did not see them coming. He saw a whole bunch of little towers that we have set up about the country. Some of them will look like a cell phone tower, but they're actually, it's like a form of a radar system. They all communicate amongst each other. And he was saying that in his vision, they were not picking up the planes or the subs until it was too late. The only time that we knew that they were there is when the subs were releasing their nuclear-tipped missiles aimed at certain big cities in the United States. And as the planes were coming over our shoreline, and as the troop ships were landing on the beaches of Oregon, Washington, California, and as the troops were coming out, I mean, they were just annihilating everybody. I mean, anything that was moving or breathing was being annihilated. And then the paratroopers that were dropping off the planes, they were wearing some sort of suits, and there were some sort of biological suits, and it was some sort of new technology so I don't know if they were releasing something or if something was already here that they were just trying to annihilate. It's pretty interesting. So if anybody is interested, you can YouTube Henry Groover or Dmitry Duduman and listen to, I think their prophecies were kind of, interestingly enough, are sort of aligning with the situation and everything that's going on today, because with this epidemic that we're experiencing now, I mean, it's incredible. It's on a fantastical level. The type of damage that this is causing to our economy is just, I mean, I don't think people understand the consequence. I mean, I believe personally, we are at the point of no return. This country is going to be very different from economic standpoint of view. I mean, it's just, and I don't know what the right solution is, Adam. I don't know what to go out there and protest. I mean, I'm not sure how to stop that, really. I mean, it's just the damage. Yes, sir.
There's one thing that you could do to start, though, is to get in the Discord, and you're probably already there, and to organize with others, because you're not going to do much by yourself. As far as the thing you're talking about, what's creepy to me is the other people that I've heard talk about that. So we already know, as a fact, this was publicized, that Russia came into our inlets in Washington with their subs and we did not detect them. They even did it so brazenly that they made a documentary about how they were able to get into our inlets, pop up, and take pictures of Seattle, and we did not detect them once.
Yeah.
And they put that into their documentaries. As far as the special suits that they were wearing, DARPA, this was around the same time that they magically needed this underground facility within 3 days. It was very weird, and I'll show you that too. DARPA wanted to build these smart suits, which are now made. These smart suits are designed with AI to actually change to different threats. So the actual suit has a new material that doesn't exist. So all of these I've covered. It's pretty wild. So yeah, you're right onto it. Well, Mike, we're out of time here. We've got to get to the next caller, but I appreciate you calling in, and I would love to talk to you again.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, and then let's see here. This is what I wanted to show you as far as Russia's subs came into our country. And then, by the way, all of this other stuff that happened, this was patrolling off east coast of U.S. There's another one here. This is, again, this is super weird. Okay, so look at this. DARPA needs underground space. Quick. And you'll see these are main publications. These are not... Look at this. The Verge, please help DARPA find a new underground research layer. Why does DARPA need a huge underground facility by Friday? This was August 28, 2019, right before all of this. It says, why does DARPA need a huge underground facility by Friday? This was 3 days that they needed this. It says DARPA is often described as the mad science wing of the Defense Department. They are the ones who have a history of working on cutting-edge technology for the military, like virtual fences, disaster relief robots, and the invention of the internet itself. They even tried to build Skynet in the 1980s. But DARPA sent out a tweet today that's making people a little nervous. The agency wants a large underground facility for testing of some sort, and they need it by 5 p.m. on Friday. Attention, city dwellers. We're interested in identifying university-owned or commercially managed underground urban tunnels and facility able to host research and experimentation. It's short notice. We're asking for responses by August 30th at 5 p.m. These are the things that they posted. Those are the pictures they posted. This is actual DARPA. So tell me that you don't think something's going down. Sorry, folks. I'm not falling. Okay, up next we have... And by the way, Sandra, hi Adam, I will send you an email for something very important for me that you need to see. I'm sorry to bug. Please look out for my email. I will try to send soon. Love to all the fam. Shazandra Fox, thank you for bringing so many topics to our attention and being forthright in explaining them. So many are unwilling to hear what's really happening behind the scenes. Keep on going. Seriously. Gag Girl Wilson says, rapture, no rapture. We are supposed to live each day ready. Get others ready. Love others. It doesn't matter. Rapture, no rapture, flat or round earth. No worries. God is on the throne and in control. Ben North, great show, Marf, from Australia. Thank you for watching from Australia. Adam Dawson, Lady T Survival, thank you. Let's see here. Shane Dawson, thank you for following. I appreciate that. And Chris Elkelberger Photography, thank you for following. I appreciate that. Okay, and let's see here. All right. Let's get the next caller in. Julian, you were live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Marv, how you doing? Long-time listener, watcher, first-time caller. It's kind of weird to call into the show.
Well, no problem. What's going on? So you've got a couple topics on here. You want to start with the first one?
Yeah, I emailed you a couple of days about this, too. It was just so surprising to me. I live in Connecticut, and Tuesday I went to go to Stop and Shop to grab a gallon of milk, and I was stopped at the door by an employee. He asked me if I had a mask. I said no, and they wouldn't let me in the store. That was the first time something like that had ever happened in the community around me. I would say the majority of people wear masks, but other stores, Walgreens, CVS, etc., you can go in without one. So I was taken aback that I was being refused service for not having a mask. And he had said, well, can you go to your car and just wrap something around your face? So I called the store manager to inquire about it, and he directed me to my governor. I guess it's an executive order out here. So I emailed my governor with a kind of a complaint asking under what law or executive order that he, invoked this directive. Is the state handing out masks if they're mandatory? That was kind of tongue in cheek, but a couple things.
If you can't get service, if they're forcing you to wear a mask, then they need to provide you with one. But I guess the guy gave you the chance to put a shirt over. But what if you don't have anything? Like, you can't refuse essential service or anything like that. If they're open, they're essential, right? So you're in an essential place.
Well, they sure did. They sent me home, and I have a couple masks at home. In December, when this thing first started coming up, I was actually concerned about it. Now, as more time has gone on, I've become less concerned about the CV itself and more concerned about the effects. But yeah, that was one of my points to the governor. Okay, if you're going to make this a directive, are you going to supply people with these masks? Something that the store manager told me on the phone was that he directed me to some website that'll teach me how to make my own, which brings up one of the two other points that this brought up for me is Dex and I were talking about this, and I really don't think that the majority of people that I see with masks on realize that the mask isn't to keep them from getting sick. It's to keep them from getting others sick. But my issue was, if I'm allowed to just go and tie something around my face, or I can make my own mask, how effective would that be? And if it's not effective, then what's the true purpose of ordering it? And as my sister is about 10 years younger, is like, why do you got to fight everything? Why don't you just put on a mask? I said, because today it's everybody's got to wear a mask, and then it's everybody's got to have a vaccine or the vaccine paper, or they won't be allowed in the store. And I was sent home. They wouldn't let me in the door. I had to go home, and I wrote you an email, like I said, and I wrote an email to the governor, and I waited till the next day. Like I said, I had masks at home. I personally don't wear them, to be completely honest with you, with all the research I've done into the CV. If this is going to be a thing now, I'd rather just get exposed to it already. I don't get the flu. I've never had a cold. I had like mono and chicken pox as a kid or whatever, but I've seen the science. I know how many people are exposed and either completely asymptomatic or very small, subtle symptoms, and then they're doing these antibody tests and finding out that people have been exposed. So if it's going to be around, God gave me an immune system, and it's worked really well for 40 years. So just expose me to it already. Like I'm not. There's so many other things I'm more afraid of. But the main point was I couldn't believe it was actually a directive. I guess other stores aren't enforcing it, and they're supposed to be, but like what the store manager directed me to is true. It's up on the Connecticut State Gov website that there is a directive that masks are mandatory, but like you're saying, well, why aren't there boxes of them in the front so you can just grab a mask, put it on, and walk in? I literally had to go home. I walked there, so I walked all the way back home.
Well, as that business
without the milk,
they could have. Well, especially you're going for something essential like milk. If you walk in, even the tiny, thin paper mask that should be. I don't even understand why the paper masks. If they're saying, they don't say you have to have an N95. Most of the states that are doing this mandatory thing are saying you just need something covering your face, even if it's a shirt, a bandana, whatever. Why are they not putting bandanas in the front so you can buy them? If you're going to stop people from coming in, I think that store in particular, has somebody uberly paranoid or kind of really on top of this thing. And they were making that kind of their own rule, and they're backed up by the state rule, so they were able to do that. Otherwise, I don't think, even in some of the states that are, doing that as mandatory, not a lot of any manager making $15 an hour isn't going to fight you for, coming in and trying to buy some milk. So, again, that is very strange. And, I'm kind of the same way in that way, but... Again, I just I have too much riding on my shoulders with family and all, so I just don't take any chances anyways. But now, is there one more point that you want to make, though? We're a little bit over time here.
I just wanted to say real quickly, I think a big problem with everything that's going on right now and the fear some people are having and the information is, we're living in this virtual reality. All our information, we have the John Hopkins website and the stuff the other people tell us, nobody knows what's real anymore. Like that news story that aired on the first three letters in the alphabet about the shooting overseas between Turkey and their neighbor that turned out to be false. If nobody corrected that, there'd be millions of people who would forever have that image seared in their subconscious and, believe that was an actual thing. And we really don't know what's real and what's fake anymore. It's so hard. It's so hard to get to the bottom of things. But other than that, I really appreciate what you do, Martha. I've seen you grow a lot, and you guys are doing a really excellent job. You are the future of journalism.
Well, thank you so much. Julian, you have a wonderful night, and I hope you stay safe no matter where you are. And again, there's a lot of people that they totally reflect your views there on that. So thank you. Up next, we have, it looks like, in fact, do you agree with Julian? Are you at the point where you're just like, screw it, let me get it and get over it, I guess. That's what I've heard many times, time and time again, over on Twitter as well. Let's see here. Up next, we have Backwoods. Backwoods, you are on Marfoogle News. What's going on?
Oh, it's good to finally talk to you, long-time listener.
Well, it's good to have you, long-time creator.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've seen it. I just wanted to kind of bring it up to your I guess, kind of your view and the audience's view. Dr. Judy Milkovitz, she just did an interview with Valuetainment It's on YouTube. Actually, just got published yesterday. And the title is I don't know if you want to say that.
But just go ahead.
Okay, the former aid scientist exposes Dr. Fauci's medical corruption.
Do you mean Dr. Batar? Is that who you're talking about?
No. The title of the video is Scientist Exposes Dr. Fauci's Medical Corruption.
Oh, okay. I've got the link here, I'm assuming. Okay, one sec.
Yeah.
Let me
Sorry, trying to watch my words.
You're trying to be careful. That's okay. Somebody already dropped the V word, so let's see here. So I mean, it's really that crazy. We've had careful shows where we don't say anything, but once something like one word, like the V word, drops, it's the whole show gets marked and then gets held back. It's pretty crazy to see. Let's see here. So, but then once it's done, it's kind of like, yeah. Okay, let's see here. This is most likely a video I've actually been sent or seen, I'm assuming. Oh, okay, no, I have not seen this version of this. This is it the interview with...
this is treason.
Amazing.
Patrick Vitt David or something?
Yep.
Wow, 639,000 views. So this almost went, or it went viral. Valuetainment, 2 million subscribers, and I don't think I've I've probably seen videos on here, but didn't know, who it was. They're kind of a variety channel, right? They've got big guests and things like that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen the video, but I've seen other clips recently of her, so that's why I watched it.
So I guess what's your opinion on all of this?
Well, it kind of, some of the stuff that they actually go over is kind of interesting. I mean, she brings up masks and how, from her perspective, masks are counterproductive if you're wearing them always, because of the way that, I guess, your body basically builds up the viruses inside of your own body, and it just is counterproductive. She even goes over her interaction, she touches on the interactions with her and Magic Johnson, and some of the stuff that she did to treat the AIDS.
Yeah, from back, and this whole thing is kind of repeating. Some people say that Fauci and others, this whole thing was kind of seen before in a way with AIDS. So there's been some similar things that people pulled out, and I never thought to actually connect those two until after I saw that. So I guess, where would you say, what is your main point on that, though?
Well, the way that everything kind of, she lays out her background and kind of walks through everything, but the way everything kind of ties together, I mean, the basic principle of it is just a level of corruption, just in that, I guess, area. But with everything else, with the amount of corruption that keeps coming up, I mean, it just, I don't know how many Q followers are out there, but I mean, you have all the Q stuff, you have more and more corruption like this that keeps coming out, and it's just, I mean, it just takes you back.
I know, and a lot of people are cheering, and then again, the view that there's an underground kind of conflict going on, and that they are actually grabbing people that are trafficking and all of these things. That's why I'm asking for somebody to kind of bring some concrete proof, because I would love to kind of bust it out. So far, we've only just kind of heard rumors, and then again, I can't repeat just somebody posting an anonymous post. We need to make sure that we get out and try to get some solid information that backs that up. There's only circumstantial stuff now.
Absolutely.
And I need to get out some, real stuff, or at least concrete for people to see. And I know that it's out there, so we just need to get that information in. Again, to you as well. What do you think about this whole thing? The whole fact is that they've kind of minimized that kind of information getting out. What do you think of that?
I think it's a shame. That's one thing that she actually alluded to in the video, is that she has all the documentation, because the other scientists that she's worked with for 30 years accidentally ended up with a whole bunch of it. So I think hopefully one day it'll come out, but I guess my gut feeling is it's going to be like another Rumsfeld with the missing 2.3 trillion, where one day, it's big news and the next day something major happens and it's never talked about again.
Yep. $2.3 trillion missing, and the next day we are being attacked, our entire country, and 2 buildings fall down. Yep, I get exactly what you mean. Yep. Well, so I appreciate your call, and we're going to share the videos that you're sharing, the video on Valuetainment, and if it has a backup video, we'll actually link that, and we'll put it on our website on marfooglenews.com. Thank you so much for calling, Backwoods, and please call in more if you get little snippets like that or even videos. Make sure to call in, because if you call in, then we can actually link it on our website and get it out, rather than people that send just links to the email. I can't possibly share any of all of that. So I appreciate you calling in for that and sharing some valuable suggestions there.
Yeah, one thing I would like to tell everybody is, the way the media keeps putting everything out there. I mean, there's so much negativity and fear, and I wouldn't worry about the fear. Just keep your eyes open, and but make sure your relationship with your higher power is on par.
Well, by the way,
and God bless you guys. Thank you for all you guys do.
We know as a fact, though, too, stress opens up your immune system. So if you're stressing about this, you are actually going to be worse off than somebody that's not. Let's see. This we know. So again, even if it is scary, don't stress about it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Backwoods. You have a great night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. Again, stress, psychological stress, has been implicated in altered immune functioning in many diseases. And they have this, they've done it time and time again, where they've found that can actually affect your immune system. In fact, check this out. The people that lived under the power lines, huge power lines, they did these studies and they said, well, is it dangerous to live under these power lines? Well, what they ended up finding is that yes, it was, but the people that were highly affected were the ones who were more stressed. So this was a study done way back, because there's always been the joke like, oh, he lives under the power lines. That's actually true, because those high power lines, a lot of that buzzing was coming off. If you've ever visited anybody, I've been to houses, in fact, in the ghetto in South Seattle, where if you're familiar with Seattle, there's South Seattle and Rainier Valley. Well, there's those high power lines that run right through the ghetto, and there's very cheap houses. I mean, like, you're talking houses that the price would be normal in Austin, Texas, but here it would be like you bought a mailbox or something here. That's how cheap these houses were, because they were right under these power lines, and you could feel the buzzing. We were out in the back. It was summer, and I swear to you on everything, we're sitting there barbecuing, and I could feel the buzz shaking my body, because we were under these huge power lines. And I'm thinking, this cannot be good for you. And he's like, no, it's not. No, he didn't do that. But seriously, he ended up having, and I know that him, his mother, and his cousin, who ended up living there for 6 months, all 3 of them had some type of cancer within 5 years. And I just thought that was nuts. And these guys were living by this all the time. what else they had, though, is they always had stress going on. They always had drama. And I loved that, that friend, but man, him and his family just always had screaming matches, all sorts of drama. That drama is going to open up that. That's why even when people talk trash and, other creators go do this and that, just push it away, especially if you're a creator and a streamer or anything like that. Don't ever just forget it. Life is too short. Why are you worried about what somebody else, gives a crap about? Let's just all move on and let's keep going. If it's not something you're going to be worried about in a year from now, it's probably not something you're going to worry about, right? Just keep going. Malo J, what is going on? God bless all the Marfoogle family, especially Adam and Dex. You have truly changed my life in ways you'll never know. Thank you for all the positivity and always being upfront and honest. I would like to return the love. Well, thank you, Malo J. You know that's not necessary, but thank you. And you guys know that you guys are supporting this channel growing and getting bigger. And that's what's happened over the last 2 years. It's pretty nuts that this didn't exist. Now we have networks all over the world. El Kaido Brigante, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. When you follow, you're becoming a part of this very large family. And then when you guys see new names in the chat, I know it's a gigantic chat. I know it goes fast. But please make sure to welcome people and ask them how their day is going, because I guarantee you there's a lot of people that have had a really bad one and they need something. They need to be able to come out and either vent or talk about things that they are being called crazy for. We've got Sandra, again, thank you for that. Lady T Survival, wish it was more, but I'm broke as hell. Lady T Survival, you save your $2 and you go get yourself some relaxing oranges or something. Seriously, if you are having problems, don't support the channel. Support a family member, if anything. Chris Alkerberger Photography, I appreciate that again. Thank you for following. Canless Lupus, Alex G, thank you. Lots of people in here. Laura Borealis, I love that name, by the way. And that's just awesome. Dex, obviously, there's a lot of crazy things that have happened over the last few months, and we're still kind of trying to process that. Do you think? Yeah. Do you agree with me that we just all need to, no matter what is happening, if a comet was going to hit tomorrow, is there really anything that, if something we can't do something about, then what should we be in? Shouldn't we be happy anyways?
I like to tell people to, live each day to its fullest, right? Like, make sure you're doing what's right for you, what's right for, your God. And, if you need to make connections with family, you need to do things like that, you should do that every day. And make sure you're always in a position that you feel good about where you are in life and what you need to do. So, yeah, because you really can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow. You'll never really know if it's going to, or something's bad is going to happen. So why not be prepared every day?
Absolutely. I agree with that. And just everything that's going on right now, there's not much more we can do other than try to know as much as we can and be prepared for it and try to dodge the bullets. We're in the Matrix right now, and we've got to slow down those bullets to the point where we can dodge them. And that's kind of what we're trying to do today. One more mom says, do your best today. That's great. Great Scott Captain says, know it in your heart. Mrs. Debbie's story time. The Goon Guy says, hello back and thanks for the welcome. Aussie Greg, tomorrow is a blessing, not a given. That's right. Absolutely. Muscle Whisperer, Rachel 420, girl, proud grandma. Shout out to Real Seb. Thanks for the shout out on your channel too. He says that he started watching for a few minutes and got stuck for 2 hours. That was pretty cool. Hotwired Barb says, I got my money. Did you get yours? By the way, what's crazy is I still have not received the stimulus. But that is because of address stuff, and I don't know. And I thought maybe I was going to get it because last year I didn't get a direct deposit thing, so they didn't know who I was, which I thought that was pretty crappy. But my wife did get hers, and I actually posted. What the weirdest part is she temporarily went negative on her bank account, went negative $1, And just magically, they put out that post. It said, since you went negative $1, we're not going to say it's negative. And then they put it in there. They actually put her stimulus in there. Isn't that weird? I just thought it was crazy. So I didn't get mine, but my wife did. And it was for one child. We also didn't get it for both children because they don't even know about my other child yet as far as taxes are concerned. So, and then my oldest child went to the other mom, because she's 14, and the other one actually got that one. So we only got one child and a stimulus for it. So again, there's a lot of things like that have happened. You know, do you have 3 kids and only got 1 kid, or this kid, or do you have a newborn? Because they don't count that. If you didn't claim them the year before, they didn't count that. If you didn't do a lot of that stuff, it was very weird times for a lot of people. So I do appreciate the support you guys gave to all of us and to the channel. I appreciate my mods, Jason78, CJ Blaze, all of you guys that are working hard, and I'm hoping you guys got something too. We're still working on a lot of different things here, and we're trying to expand. So please stick around. We were about to bring out one more person, but that didn't end up working out. I just couldn't believe the person ended up. I'm so glad. Sometimes you think somebody's a really good person, and the reason I've been so hesitant is, it ended up he was being super paranoid and he was just being weird on himself. Sometimes people implode and they destroy their own good things. So you just got to always step back a bit, and you got to make sure that, people are who they say they are. It's really too bad. Minnesota Man 44, Gina is here. Thank you. It's now time officially for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Remember, we're going to be hosting somebody random. Don't know who it is. So if it's somebody you don't like, after the show over on DLive, then just turn it off. It's okay. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. You got to go, you got to go, you got to go get yourself Red Pill. Marfoogle News. There is a lot of special people in here tonight, but I'm going to switch right over, and I'm going to say Tiffany G, Laura Borealis, Barefoot Lass, Allie B, Paul Crane, thank you, Ed Brown, I Am, and Lady T Survival, Adam Dawson, thank you, Ben North, El Kaido Brigante, Sandra, Shizandra Fox, yes, that's right, back-to-back Shizandra and Sandra's. Got to go, and you know it's gonna be. I like the way you say that girl Wilson, a barefoot lass, and everyone else. You've got to say that you've loved, you've never loved. We've got to open up the chat so we see them now. Play Hot 69. Zippy moons. Laura Griffith, Fluffy Puff, and the rest. I'm having some problems with this. Where is... I've got the SOS love with the Chance Paladin and everybody gets in. Thank you. Poker Loco, Sand Mike, End Times, and the rest of them fight. Tim is dead? I have no idea. Proud Canadian and the rest I hear. You've got the Killer Q and Obey 777 with the Maria Synerger, Karen from Columbus, Chickawa and Sammy Lee, Cutthroat Mom, and Proud Grandma, ones with the Allegro in the town, Paulette Owens, PHX Breeze, and Juanita got a FCs, and Lady Savannah, Third Eye Raven, and Julio Rock for Life. Todessa took a while, and you gotta bring your background now. You gotta get it raw. What the heck was that? And you know what? I think we found it somewhere. Rocking for life and the barefoot lies, Phil, Billy X and the rest of class. So back like I've got no Johnny Doom and no car though. End times and no obey, I gotta bring it back on down. A gas electric and Laura Griffith gonna hold it down. End times in a melody, Delphina gonna ride. Mrs. Marla in a jar, I know a B and an integers. I'm gonna go back and it got to me green. A wide awake one and the other eagle sun, gonna go in all the way. Gonna bring the nameless block and go a pro sapho say. Peachy 1093, you gonna go and see. You're gonna bring it back down now, you know you've gotta go be. Same gang gang, bring it bang bang, we come around. Kelly Davis, Christina V, and Taylor B. Two Daily and Lord Andrew and Michelle all the same. Yabba dabba sexy ruby's eyes, slat than a Tony L. Sam Mike Rennie, I'm gonna no stick down to the grindstone. Baby girl 3479, bushel and pat. Doctor hoping it like it's hot. I don't know if that's something they are. A soft on nose and a stout 50 gonna bring it back this evening. A big shout out to Chris Starr. Thanks for the birthday cake. It doesn't take much to say a good thank you and thank you late. A key lay low in the desert granny, gonna bring it back now, they no lie. Gonna go back with the girl, and you're gonna go back and lie. Rebecca Fisher and the rest of them gonna hang out cutie pie. A alligator mug and the alligator bug gonna hang out and they fishing. They got to ride with the golden ones, gonna bring it all the way back. You're gonna say you did it now, you've gotta go back bracken. Gonna bring it down and you know this now, I just love to go all the way, all the way, gonna bring it all so down by that and bring it all back and you're gonna know down it down. Da 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 da. You know there you've got to go and you find we just got back. Just having fun, just hanging out with everyone. Top contributor, got the entire family and Tokomo. Game me Nana, Cali 2, 3, 4. A zippy moon's gotta go, and you know that we've got to flow.
The farmers are
What in the girl going on here? Trying to go in there, hold nanny. Where is it going down there? Getting that ding 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 weird there, get the ding. Where in the girl. We're gonna be hosting Chris Starr. She did a birthday cake for me. She's a very sweet woman. So we're gonna make sure we do that. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. If you're offended by the content that's about to be popping up over on D-Live, then just make sure to turn your thing off. You know, you can always pause the sound. You know what I'm saying? Thank you very much. news, blink on my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Foogle news, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle news. I like that don't bang. Coming back round and you go back now. Doing all day and doing all now. Gotta bring it right like you go now. Miss my land lost in the jar. Still may see a 572. Melody in the storm 95. Pull me right back with the windy low. Head like a hole in the checker wire. Bring it back like proud grandma. Gotta say it now like a positive channel. Gonna bring it back like wearing a flannel. Saffarillo with checker wire. Gonna bring it back like I got no bra. T-Ball-Ree with a chance paladin. Gotta bring it back in a OSA. Roxy Alameda go. And gonna bring out Jenna May. Mary on with the J. Don't 78 bell blow in the melody. Going back now and you know it right. Gonna back and you never sigh. WS and I go inside. Wait, what's and now rest it right. Oh, got to bring back Satire. Rally out, go. Gone at Tucson and Shell. Gonna bring it back like you got the game. Say, oh, you know that we've got Randy Simmons on. And go back around. And don't be down. Hey, gotta bring that cowbell back. Got to love it just like that. And you've got Paul and Brenda classic. Gonna go lay it down. And you know that we're going back. You gotta go when you know it that. And you've gotta be like Ada Brown and go. I'm looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Marfoogle news, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle news, Marfoogle news, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle news. I've got them down to go. I'm going back and I know it's wrong. And I'm gonna hit it back like a desert granny. I'm bringing it right back. Now we're fanny. I'm gonna bring down, not go to jump. Got that down and know you. I put a cat cave and a massive back. I'm bringing up just like that. Miss Marla and the la la la. Gonna bring it down like ha ha ha. Gonna go back like you never. Gonna go say it is bad. Oh, sit, okay, so be high. Gonna bring it back like a hole in the head. I'll bring it back down with the triple day. Bed 6 hour and I love it back. You've gotta say that hey, encrypted TV. Thanks for going, sticking up for me. Go to bring that barrel out bug. Gonna bring it back and now you're down. Hey, la la, just don't leave, yeah. Mr. YOLO, oh. Randy Simmons and the D-Rock Live. Gonna bring it down like a popular. Oopsie, daddy, hey. Oopsie, holy, hey. Ole, hey. Now just gotta love it now. Goose now, I 52. Gotta bring it back and you know you. Got to go back round and round. You've gotta say and repeat. You just gotta go. Mike Denzel and the JP's song. Karen from Columbus. We Marfoogle strong, we never go. And you know that we've got it. We've got that cab one too. And we never leaving you. And the Reebo's not for bringing it. Oh, so high. Yo, Lisa, oh. You've got to stand tall. And world news and Beth Storm and Roxy Alameda. You've got to find a way. That Twyla Suyan. You've got to do it every single day and keep it rolling. Oh, you've got to go. You've got to say. And everyone that you know.
outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams.
I didn't go anywhere. Everybody's saying, "Where are you?" I'm right here. Just wanted to make sure you knew.
Y'all have a good night now. Make sure to come back on the next show. Thank you for support. I love ya. Only news I use.